Hello, yeah, wonderful people out there, and welcome to my media museum. Today, we're starting box 8 of our 45 vinyl RPM records, and this is a real surprising one, Metallica 1. You gotta get it in the light just right so you can read that sucker, because it's one of those silver on a bright red color, and what might they have put on the back of that? It was a non-album track called The Prince, which was actually a cover song. I don't remember the band that did it originally. I think it was Diamond Head, but don't hold me to that. And yeah, it's really surprising to come across a copy of Metallica's One on vinyl. I have this on a CD single. In fact, I think I got 2 different versions of it on a CD single. But here we've got it on an actual vinyl. So that's really cool. And next up, we've got Ugly Kid Joe doing Everything About You. The clean edit, of course, for radio play. And the B-side is the exact same thing. No difference whatsoever. And this is the version taken off the EP. It even tells you from the EP and the forthcoming Mercury album. So, not sure. I thought they re-recorded it for the album. So this may vary from the album version you're familiar with. But it's definitely, as noted here, the exact same as the copy that was on the EP. Next up, we got a true classic. We're talking classic here with Blue Oyster Cult doing Don't Fear the Reaper. And I remember when this come out, we all thought it said Don't Fear the Reaper, and we were singing it that way. You know, those misheard lyrics. That's one that we had in my little circle of the world. And the B-side of that being Tattoo Vampire. And it's clearly noted it's coming off of the Agents of Fortune album, 1976. But what a great song that is. And that's the 3-minute and 45 second 45 version. Not the full album version, because that is the original 45 there. Next up, we got Supertramp with Take the Long Way Home. And the B-side of that was Rudy. Not sure if we've covered that one before. I do actually have 2 copies of it right here back to back. But this one that I showed you first looked a little bit cleaner, a little bit better, so that's why I chose to show you that one. And then we've got, hey, The Way to Take the Long Way Home with The Who on the Magic Bus. Yeah, that's a really good one to have. And the B-side of that was Somebody's Coming. Do, 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 do. All right, now we're getting into a few Beatles here. We got at least one by each member, with Ringo Starr doing Oh My My. This isn't one that I've seen a whole lot of. I see Photograph all the time. Somebody else black magic markered that out before I got my hands on it. I just leave the names and stuff. I don't bother blacking things out unless it's an address. It's got somebody's street address, I'll black it out or cover it up with some tape before filming. But names are common. Even if I gave you my full name, it doesn't target me specifically, you know, because so many other people share it. But the B-side of that being Step Lightly. All right. Now then, moving on, we've got George Harrison on a Dark Horse Records sleeve even. How cool is that? With All Those Years Ago. And I like the way it cuts the N off, George Harrison. They really don't did a lot of QC quality control on these labels sometimes. B-side of that one was Writings on the Wall. So that's taking us back to 1981 there with George. All right, and then next up, of course, you know it's going to be either John or Paul. Well, it happens to be Paul, with Linda McCartney doing Uncle Albert and Admiral Halsey. Uncle Albert. And the B-side of that, because this is a Hall of Fame release, this is a reissue, has got Jet on it, which is another Wings song that you're probably quite familiar with. Jet, do 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 do. And then we've got our John Lennon. We had to do one of each of them, of course. I found them all in this box. I just kind of grouped them together because, you know, Beatles, you want to keep them all together and do them in a row. But Power to the People, and that's not one that I believe I've got a lot of copies of either. I've run across quite a few John Lennons, but I don't remember seeing this one previously in any of my boxes. And the B-side of that, the Yoko Ono Plastic Ono Band doing Touch Me. All right. So, going back to where we started with another Ringo Starr. Back Off Boogaloo. And somebody paid $1.69 for that at some time. B-side of that being a song called Blind Man, which I am actually not familiar with. And then we got another George. But at this point in time, this is where we're going to stop with the Beatles, and we'll move on to somebody else after this George here. We got Soft Hearted Hannah from 1979 off the album Dark Horse. And the B-side of that one was Blow Away. And I can't honestly say I'm really familiar with either one of those songs. But surprisingly in this box, I found 2 copies of it, the exact same one. I just picked this one because it looked a little bit brighter on the label, a little bit cleaner. I mean, the 45 is about as clean as you could ask for. But that label was a little more bright and colorful on the copy I choose to show off. And then we're moving on with some Creedence Clearwater Revival. Proud Mary, Keep On Burning. And the B-side, Born on the Bayou. And I've mentioned this before in the past, but CCRs, they're almost all AA sides. They had so many great songs, and the singles were so well produced that you get an A track on both sides. So Born on the Bayou is definitely a well-known song, as was Proud Mary, which you might remember Ike and Tina Turner doing a remake of Proud Mary. And I think a few other people have over the years as well. Now we've got a band that really only had a couple of really great songs in my opinion, but Toto, Hold the Line. I love this song. This is a really great song by Toto, so off the first album. And B-side of that one, Taking It Back. So off the same album as noted there. Now this one, next one up here, this is one we have shown on a previous episode here, but it had a different label. It wasn't on this Boardwalk Entertainment Company's label. And we've got marked as side 1, I Love Rock and Roll, Put Another Dime in the Jukebox Baby. And the B-side being You Don't Know What You've Got off of the Bad Reputation album, 1982. So, yeah, I showed that one again because, like I said, it is a completely different label. Now we've got a really cool-looking label here. If I saw a band, I don't know, I think they're a one-hit wonder, Sky High. You've blown it all, Sky High, by Jigsaw. And it says it's from the motion picture The Dragonflies. But, boy, I don't remember that movie at all. I should look that up. The B-side being a song called Brand New Love Affair. So, don't know that song either. But 1975, Sky High, I definitely do know that song, know it well. I just didn't recognize it as having came from a movie soundtrack. Excuse me. Alright, now we got a Warner Brothers record here, sleeve with a Warner Brothers record, and it's Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water, the edited version. And we have seen the original Smoke on the Water 45 in a previous episode, but this is a back-to-back hits one where they took the studio Machine Head version, edited it down to 348, pretty much, butchered it, and then they gave you the Made in Japan live version. And they edited it down to 434. So both of these are edited versions, one from the studio version and one from the live. And sticking with some of the previously scenes, here's a nice little Goldies sleeve that I don't think we've showed off before. But we see a lot of these Goldies labels. And here we got Steppenwolf doing Born to be Wild, 1973. This is a reissue. I have previously shown an original print of this along with Magic Carpet Ride, which just so happens to be the B-side of this reissue. So you get the 2 hits on one in this particular case. Magic Carpet Ride and Born to Be Wild, 2 of their greatest songs they ever did. And then this is kind of cool. Somebody took time to type it up on the sleeve. I guess it was released June 22nd, 1976. But here it is. Gary writes, "My love is alive. Dun-dun, 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 doo-doo." And the B-side being Much Higher, which don't know that one, so I can't hum that one for you. But definitely do like My Love is Alive. That's a good song. All right. Now we've got another collectibles reissue here, and Janis Joplin doing Me and Bobby McGee. And I think most of you out there are probably familiar with that. That came off of her Pearl album, which was probably her most successful solo album. And the B-side of that being a song called Get It While You Can. It's not noted as being off of any particular album, so I'm not real familiar with that. But being that it's a collectible, it's probably another one of her known songs, and I'm just not familiar with it. Alright, so we're going to wrap this episode up with Van Morrison doing Brown Eyed Girl. And I remember commenting previously on this that I thought this was a Rolling Stones song. Sure sounded like Mick Jagger to me. For years I thought that was the Rolling Stones, till I found out one day that no, that's Van Morrison. And the B-side, that's Goodbye Baby, Baby Goodbye. The previous copy we had shown had a different B-side on it, so that's why I wanted to show this Bang Records one to you once again. Alright, well that wraps up part 1. Be sure to join us for part 2. See you then.